Hey folks, Machinery Pete here. You know, two things I love about going to all these farm equipment auctions around the country. One is watching the used machinery sell, figuring out what everything is worth. Second, well, it's all the great people I get to meet. Folks like Keith Bod of Fairfax, Minnesota. Keith is a veteran of the auction scene going back to the mid-1980s, and he's one of the sharpest used equipment guys I've ever met. Keith's also quite an inspirational story. He's been confined to a wheelchair since high school, but he hasn't let that slow him down one bit. I caught up with Keith at a recent auction in Davenport, Iowa.
Hey, Machinery Pete here, and I'm with Keith Bod, who has come down from Fairfax, Minnesota to the auction today in Davenport, Iowa. Keith, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Now, folks, this is one of the most knowledgeable used equipment guys in not just the U.S., but in the world. Keith, why don't you tell the folks how long you've been at this game of buying and selling used farm equipment?
Well, I've been in the farm equipment business in some form or other since 1976. I've been buying and selling used stuff since 1985. Prior to that, I worked for a couple farm equipment dealerships selling.
Okay.
I farm part-time, too.
How many acres you farm, Keith?
320, just kind of a hobby farm.
And Fairfax, for folks out there watching who are not familiar, is south central Minnesota?
That's right.
God's country, right?
Right.
Fairfax. What's new around Fairfax these days?
Oh, pretty quiet. Nothing too exciting happening.
But now there's nothing quiet about your business, Keith. Why don't you tell me how you're using the internet here and how that's changed the business over the last 5-10 years?
Oh, I buy quite a bit of equipment off the internet.
Okay.
Buy equipment from John Deere Credit on the internet.
Okay.
Buy some industrial equipment on the internet off of Iron Planet and Equipment Alley, which is CNH Capital's website. Occasionally buy something on a farm sale, on an internet sale.
Okay.
You know, on Proxy Bid or some other internet form.
So, how much inventory, or how many pieces of equipment do you typically have at any point in the year? What's an average number of items that you might have available for sale?
Oh, maybe I might have 20 pieces.
Okay.
Anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million worth of stuff.
And now, what have you been noticing about the used market so far in 2010, Keith? What's your take on it?
Market was good in January, February, March. April was still good yet, but right now it seems like it's a little softer and quieter. Typically it would be this time of the year.
Right, late spring kind of slows down a little bit. Okay. How do you think the sale today went?
Stuff was a little softer, but you kind of expected that.
Right.
Combines were a little lighter. There were some good buys here today.
You think dealers are trying to get out ahead of the curve a little bit and pare down some of this inventory? Or?
I think so, because there's a lot of inventory that's looking for a home right now, I think.
Okay. Now, Keith, tell me, how did you get involved with the equipment business? Was you grew up farming, or?
Well, I grew up on a farm. Started selling for a John Deere dealer in 1976 after I graduated from technical college.
Okay.
Worked for an international harvester dealer close to home for a few years, and then just got into the used equipment business.
Okay. Now, folks, Keith is a modest Minnesotan here, but he's a legend in the used equipment business. And Keith, I mean, what you've done with your situation, I mean, you've been in a wheelchair for how long?
I was hurt, and I got injured in a car accident in 1973 when I was 18 years old. Right, you just kind of adapted.
Now, how many, your chair, can you tell me, if you had to make any adaptations? I mean, obviously, like today was a pretty good weather day. It's pretty dry a lot, but I've seen you at auctions with unbelievable, the ground conditions. You're still able to get around and bid and buy equipment, and just fantastic.
I don't get around quite as well as I used to. I'm getting older and I'm getting slower. But
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Keith?
I'm 55 years old.
Okay, well, you're looking good. Well, now, when did you start going out to auctions? Was that right when you got into the business, or?
Well, I started going to auctions probably in the late 70s, early 80s. I'd go to a farm sale once in a while, just buy a tractor and resell it.
Okay. And what do you enjoy about the auctions? I mean, you've been at it so long now. I imagine the people you get to visit with, and just obviously you love the machinery end of it. But just tell me about auctions in general. What you've enjoyed and taken away from them over the years.
I like an auction. You always see a lot of people that I know because I've been in the business for a few years. And so you get to visit with people.
You always learn something when you go to a sale, don't you?
Right.
I mean, might sell high, might sell low, or you might visit with people who will give you some interesting advice, but that's good stuff. Now, did you travel quite a bit over the upper Midwest over the years, Keith, for equipment, going to auctions?
Yes, I used to travel a lot more than I do now.
Okay.
Went to a lot of auctions in Illinois, North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Now, selling equipment, you were mentioning to me before, Keith, when we bumped into each other at the sale here. You recently sold a piece of equipment. Was it Panama or Peru or something like that?
Last fall, I exported a telescopic forklift to a utility company in Panama.
You had to get that thing to ship it?
I sold it to them, delivered to the Port Everglades in Florida.
Port Everglades. I bet when you were growing up in Fairfax, you never could have imagined you'd be sending used equipment down to Florida to ship to. Was it Panama you said, or Peru?
Panama.
Okay.
I did sell a tractor a couple years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. I sold a 8850 John Deere, and that went to Peru.
Well, that's good stuff, Keith. I really appreciate you taking time here at the sale, and hope you have a good trip back, and hope we see you at auctions for years to come.
You'll see me around again.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith.